Hi, this is Gia Marone, President of Women Grow, and welcome to our Women in Cannabis Holiday Showcase. We're so excited to have you support and learn about all of these women-owned and women-led businesses. We want to remind you to shop small, shop women-owned, and shop diverse. We want you to keep that same energy this holiday season and beyond. We're so excited to have you meet many of these women owners, not only from my city, New York, but from across the country. Thank you so much for supporting. We ask you to keep supporting, keep showing these women love. And as Women Grow, our mission is to connect, educate, empower, and inspire that next generation of cannabis leaders. So continue to stay tuned to all of our holiday showcases. Thank you.
Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are back again with another Women in Cannabis holiday showcase. Remember, we do these as often as we can because there's so many brands out here that you might never know. And we want you to shop diverse, shop women-led, not only for the holiday season, but going forward. So this particular event has a really unique twist to it, and I'm so excited. We have the opportunity to connect with Latinas in Cannabis, which is a brand that was introduced to us. Actually, they approached us basically because we aligned in the fact that we want to expose all women to this industry. And Latinas in Cannabis is founded by Susie Plascencia, who is a fantastic entrepreneur. She comes from the PR space and then realized that in her area out on the West Coast and beyond, there was a lack of representation for Latinas in this space. So she formulated this brand so that she could basically shine the light on Latina-led brands. And she's also an entrepreneur. So we're going to bring her up and we're doing a Latinas in Cannabis takeover today. And we're really excited for you to meet these awesome brands. So I'm going to bring up Susie. She's going to take over and then we're all going to come back and have a great conversation. So let's introduce us to Susie.
Hello, everyone. I'm Susie Plascencia. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thank you so much to Gia and Tanya of Women Grow. We're huge fans of Women Grow. We love what they do in the industry, advocacy for women, but they also connect a lot of us, whether it's from the East Coast to the West Coast. It's great to have this online community. And so yeah, Latinas in Cannabis. I am a Latina journalist. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a cannabis advocate. I'm also the CEO and founder of Night Shift Digital, which is a boutique PR and social media marketing agency focusing on the cannabis industry, Night Shift Cannabis. So we serve clients in the space. I'm also the co-founder of Mota Glass right here, which is the industry's first Latina and veteran-owned bong brand. And I think from working in the space, I started to see that a lot of really strong Latinas existed in the cannabis industry, from bud tenders to people in the legal space to advocates, really and working in policy, helping to pave the way for a lot of Latino brands to really come in this space. And I thought, why aren't these women being highlighted? Why don't we see them in the magazines? And so we started this channel with that in mind, to give representation in this space, because they do exist. We are here. We're entrepreneurs and advocates and content creators and influencers in many ways. But we weren't being seen. So Latinas in Cannabis was a project we started to be able to find the Latinas, connect them, but also with the intent of growing a page so large that any Latina small business has built-in support, built-in community, and also just ad space, right? If I always tell people, tag us, hashtag Latina owned or Latinas in Cannabis, so we can find you, share your work, and help promote your business. A lot of the people following Latinas in Cannabis are journalists, are VC people, business people, a lot of journalists. And a lot of them are looking to cover Latinas in Cannabis. So a big function of Latinas in Cannabis is identifying us so that we can serve them up to the press and business people that want to collaborate. So it's a really powerful new community that I'm really excited to help grow. And, you know, collaborations like these is something that is just the beginning for us. I see this being a conference, but ultimately as a space that is safe for us to communicate and connect about our cannabis use, but also be able to lean on each other and get resources from anything from incorporating your business to marketing. We need a lot of resources, and being a Latina, you know, we deal with stigma. A lot of us are first generation of, you know, college educated folks, and it's difficult for us to, you know, look in and let me just connect with my, you know, VC uncle. A lot of us don't have those. So having a community like this, it really allows us to share those resources and lean on each other, because we may not have, you know, a lot of those legacy resources the way that maybe other communities have. So I'm really excited for you guys to meet the next Latina cannapreneurs that are on this panel. Some of these great cannapreneurs are people that we have been supporting on Latinas in Cannabis for months now, but they're folks that we've been watching and we've been seeing their growth. And I'm really excited for you guys to meet them, but also hear from them and hear a little bit of what they've gone through to get to this point, you know, because most of them are killing it on social media and in business. And we want to hear from them because this is a big part of the community, is learning from each other. So I'm really excited for you guys to meet them. Without further ado, let's get to chatting with our Latina cannapreneurs.
Hey everybody, my name is Hines. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for Latinas in Cannabis and for our friends at Women Grow for highlighting us as a brand. I am CEO and co-founder of Buena Botanicals. We sell organic CBD infused full spectrum products on our website. And my sister and I, Ra, we started the brand back in 2019. And in 2019, you know, CBD was kind of, I had heard little things about CBD, but I wasn't really informed about what was going on. It wasn't until one of my coworkers and my sister reached out to me about CBD that we really researched it more, and we decided that, wow, this is really a great, you know, a great tool for people. Our mother was actually our biggest inspiration to starting our brand. She lives with multiple health conditions that really compromises her day-to-day living, sciatica, arthritis, you know, and several other things. And so she was really our first customer. We gave her some of our CBD oil, and it really seemed to help her move around more. It helped her mood, and it just made us excited. And we thought, wow, if this product, if this plant can help, you know, our mother, then why not everyone else in our community? Why not everyone else, you know, who we know that are really looking for an alternative to prescription drugs and medications that have can have harmful side effects. So we started our brand in 2019, and we haven't looked back. And we have expanded to some bath products and skincare products. And we really value holistic healing, wellness, plant medicine, of course. We're both longtime cannabis users, so we're no stranger to the plant at all. But thank you so much for inviting us. And we're so excited to be here and speak with everybody about some other products that we have in our store.
Hey everyone, thanks to Women Grow and Latinas in Cannabis for inviting us to partake in this incredible panel. So I'll try to keep it brief. My journey with CBD started in 2018. So it kind of manifested through journey, right? It was a journey getting here. And so we got, in 2015, I went through a tough year. I had my first panic attack, my first anxiety attack. I never knew what that felt like before. I've heard of people telling me, and I thought it was terrible to live with it. And so I've always been into wellness and alternative healing. And a friend, I remember I started going through periods where I couldn't sleep. I started diving into breath work and personal development and a ton of things. And a friend of mine said, why don't you try CBD and it'll help you sleep, because I wasn't sleeping at all. And I took it and I was like, this is incredible, because during that time, the doctors had prescribed sleeping medications and it gave me terrible side effects. And that's when I fell in love with CBD. That's when I fell in love with the plant. And now fast forward, that was 2015, I started to do the research, and it took about a little bit over 2 years to build the brand. We wanted to build something very intentional, and so Hustle and Flow was born really out of need, out of experience, we tested the formulas. We wanted to be intentional where we source our product from, and so we source our product from a woman-owned farm upstate New York. We also wanted to be intentional with our packaging. So we managed to be almost plastic free. We only have a little bit of plastic on top of one of our products, which is the oral spray. And really our company, Hustle and Flow, extends beyond product, right? We are working on building a community of wellness seekers through storytelling, from all walks of life. Representation matters to us through storytelling, music, and art. And art meaning collaboration, with brands, with artists, both music and visual. And I'm excited to share some of the products we have, some of the promotions we have going on. We turned 3 months yesterday. And so we have a few campaigns running this week. But for now, I know we have a few other panelists. And so I'm excited to share that with you all later on. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Chelly. I'm the Bruja Jefa here at XiCali Products in East LA. I actually started making remedies for my mom. My background is in community organizing. So I spent most of my life as a community organizer, and because of that, I was always poor, so I always had a side job. And I came into the cannabis industry and not knowing anything about starting a business, and now we're celebrating 3 years, which is a huge achievement. I started growing into the cannabis industry because of my mom. She's diabetic. She's a super Mexican señora, right? Like, pinches marihuaneros. That was like her insult to people, even if they weren't smoking. And so that was her, right? That's my mom. And she had severe diabetic nerve damage, so much so I had to call the ambulance, take her to the ER multiple times, and then to finally be diagnosed. And in that time was given morphine and codeine for the pain, which are heavy narcotics. And I said, Ma, ya es tiempo para que uses la marihuana. And she was like, well, what if I get addicted? And I was like, Mom, you already tried the heaviest narcotics out there because a doctor told you to? Like, I'm your daughter. No one cares about you the way I do. These doctors don't care about you. They're not looking out for you. So I looked up diabetic nerve damage. I did all the research, and I started to learn how to make remedies, period. Not even cannabis or CBD remedies, just regular remedies. And from there, I started to learn more about cannabis and how to use it in products. And that's when I started making remedies for my mom. And bam, I made something for her, and it actually worked. It was a series of multiple recipes. And I made this. It's our Canela CBD rub. It's for extra strength. So she has diabetic nerve damage, which is super, super painful. And she couldn't get up. She couldn't eat. She was just so much, she couldn't sleep. And to make this for her, and for her to say, esto fue la única cosa que me ayudó. Nada que me dieron los doctores me ayudaron, pero esto sí. She was like, la morfina me sentí peor. La codeína me dio una alergia, pero esta planta sí me ayudó. Me dijo, tienes manos santas. And I was like, wow. So I started making remedies for my mom, and I started growing the plant at home too, so I can make more. And I remember her looking at it and saying, ¿cómo es posible que esta planta era un crimen? And to go from pinches marihuaneros to that is a huge shift. And I felt like I was a part of my mom decolonizing cannabis. And a few years after that, because I worked in the nonprofits, I had no money. I was always poor. So I decided, like, I knew that I had reached the glass ceiling. No one wanted to pay me to be a manager, but they wanted me to do everything and above. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go in. I'm finally gonna gamble on myself and start my business. And my community came out to support me, and we're now in our third year in business. And I've participated in different accelerator business programs, and I've learned that most businesses, especially businesses like mine that have no background in business, in a field that's considered federally illegal and a high-risk business, don't succeed past 2 years. So to make it to 3 years is a big achievement. And I would love to share our products with you. We actually have a free goodie bag promo. If you send me a DM on Instagram, you can get a free goodie bag. Send me a DM. Our Instagram is XiCali Products, XiCali Products. You have to spell the whole thing out. And I would also love to offer free shipping for anyone listening and watching it. Our website is XiCali Products, XiCali products.com. And all you have to do is type in Women Grow, and you get free shipping, all one word. We really focus on bringing wellness into our communities. So we help our community manage their anxiety, balance their hormones, sleep better naturally. We really focus on bringing in wellness through our CBD products and our online content. We do have a lot of content on our website and our Instagram, actually. So whether you're ready to try our products or you want to try a home remedy that you can just use with your own body and things you have at home, I got you covered. Thank you so much.
Hello, everybody. First of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to Women Grow and Latinas in Cannabis and Susie for adding me to today's panel and to give you guys some advice and some insight on my business and how I got to where I am now. So if you recognize me, you probably know me as Joylovette on Instagram, but I just go by Joy regularly. Speaking of Instagram, that's kind of how I started out 2 years ago. I decided to make my account just because I had noticed that I was kind of smoking all the time and posting it all the time. So I was like, you know what, maybe I can use what I do all the time in my lifestyle and make an account and connect with other people. So at first, that's what it was about, just connecting with other people with similar interest as me. And as time went on, I began to get reached out to by a lot of cannabis brands, whether it be CBD or accessories or just anything you can think of. I probably promoted it at one point or another. And it just kind of seeing the background of what goes on between companies and how they use marketing really kind of opened my eyes to the fact that I could be doing the same thing for myself, because a lot of companies that did tend to reach out to me sometimes didn't even have 200 followers, and it seemed like they knew what they were doing. So I was like, you know what, if they could do it, I can do it. So I started my business account a year after making my, I guess you could say, influencer account. But after starting my business, within the first week, things just literally blew up. And my main goal was to bring products to the cannabis community that catered to women and girls like me, because so many companies that reached out to me, I never really appreciated the product as much as I feel like if I were to make my own, in a sense. And it's so crazy because as soon as I started to make my own products, people just started coming from literally all over. I had posted on TikTok a video of my, I started out with trays, resin trays, just little small smoking accessories for girls to use like on the day-to-day basis, like me, but cute. So I just started out with pink trays with like butterflies or Powerpuff Girls. And within the first week, I think we reached like 5,000 followers within the first 2 weeks. So it was pretty crazy. It was a lot to deal with. It was a lot to come into and to understand, like, wait, I think I'm a business owner now. Like, this is so crazy, because I mean, I had never thought that I myself would be a business owner. I come from a single mom home raising 4 children. And from a very young age, my mom was hustling and making plants and going to the flea market. And we would sit there, we would, wait all day to see if like we would get any customers. And she would just always figure out ways to hustle and to make things and use her creativity and to like profit off of that so that we could have a little bit of an easier life. So I feel like this has always been kind of like in me in a sense. But it's funny because when I first started my account, my mom did not approve at all. We actually didn't talk for the first 6 months that I had my business. Even though she knew it was really successful, she was, super upset with the fact that it had to do with something in her eyes as drugs. I mean, she was super strict, super religious. But as time went on, I kind of just explained to her, this has helped me in my life in so many ways. And I've become so successful in helping other people in a sense. I'm just really grateful for the position I'm in. We've expanded now to worldwide. We've shipped worldwide. We've shipped to Australia, we've shipped to Canada, we've shipped to Germany, we've shipped to Mexico. We've shipped everywhere you can almost think of. Our goal is to ship to every country at some point, hopefully by next year.
Hola, buenas tardes. Claudia Mercado here with CALIBUENO. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this afternoon, evening, and for Latinas in Cannabis and Women Grow for putting this really special event in place and bringing all of us together. A little bit about CALIBUENO. CALIBUENO started in 2017. I realized that Prop 64 was coming. It was most likely going to pass. So I looked around like a lot of other women did and said, well, who are going to be the Latinas that are going to step up to the plate and be the pioneers in this industry? So I said, well, that could be me. So I started doing my homework. Happy to say that, CALIBUENO, and we got licensed, or actually we got a California license distribution license in January 24, 2018. So we launched as a licensed distributor, packaging for small craft farmers. So that's one of the things that we really stand behind CALIBUENO. We want to be a brand in the industry that also supports legacy farmers and farmers that are value aligned. We have been able to execute distribution through the northern part of California. We also launched CALIBUENO delivery for a year, and that's been a really great experience. We've been able to not only sell our products, but also support other women-owned and POC-owned brands. Our delivery is currently unavailable for the holidays due to security issues here in Oakland with crime against cannabis businesses, so we're playing it safe. But other than that, we're doing great. I'm really excited about our future growth. CALIBUENO as a brand, I think, really resonates with the Latino community here in California. 49% of the population is Latino. So there's a huge opportunity for us to really step into a leadership role and also to create brands that are value aligned with our communities. So I'm really happy to be here. I'm really hopeful. I really think the future is bright for all of us, and I'm excited to see what comes next for all of us. Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks so much for sharing, everyone. It was great to learn more about you guys and hear more about what you guys going on. Next, we want to kind of transition to a discussion. I think that being Latinas in this space, we deal with a different set of obstacles that maybe others don't have to deal with different areas, right? One of them is for sure stigma. I think that some of you were sharing that, your desire to break in the industry was because, parents dealing with issues. But some of us maybe are more like Joy, where you're kind of worried about your family finding out. So I want to touch on that a little bit with regards to that coming out period of our lives, where we have to kind of face, like, we have to let our family and friends know that we're actually really pursuing this. It's not something that we're just dabbling to see what's going on. Like, we're going full steam ahead. So I want to touch base on that with you guys. How was it kind of breaking that news? Like, no, this is real, and I'm going 110%. I think for me and my when I started doing more PR and more marketing in cannabis, I was definitely afraid. I was definitely worried about my career. As someone that went through the traditional education route, I thought that, I did the right thing. I went to a big school, got my degree, and then here I go working in cannabis. I felt like I was going to throw away everything by working in something because I thought it was kind of like exciting, or because it was in line with something that I did, which is cannabis. So I smoked cannabis, but I never was very forward about it because I was very, corporate world, right? But I think it wasn't until I saw that there was actually a cross between my work experience and cannabis that I'm like, you know what? I'm still doing the same work, but it's just a different industry. That's when I started kind of being like, no, I can break it to anybody, whether it's my family and friends, and be like, it's because it's my regular work. It's just a different industry. So I felt like that's what guided me. By the time I co-founded Mota Glass, I think at that point I was already kind of like, no, I'm an entrepreneur. It doesn't matter the industry. I'm doing my thing, It's just, this is what I align with the most. So I think that's what helped me. Would love to hear from you guys on how you guys came out as cannabis entrepreneurs and what you guys dealt with.
I can go first since we were talking about me, but I think in general, when I came out to my mom about it, she just really didn't. I think it's just their generation, maybe too. I mean, I kind of grew up like watching cops and seeing people go to jail for the smallest bags of weed, and that used to scare me, honestly, as a child. And so, and you're in, all the DARE campaigns and, stuff like that, just growing up with it so stigmatized as a demonizing plant opposed to a healing plant. So kind of breaking that down for her and showing her that this is not something for me to be lazy or for me to, this is something that is providing for me every day. And this is something that's making me happy and helping me. So I think in the run, after she realized that I was successful, and I think she could just see my energy. I was a lot happier, and it's because of my success. She understood that, this is something that can be professional, and it's not something that just the lazy stoner stigma or anything like that, because I get what you mean, especially thinking I went to school, and because before this I was a teacher. So it's like, I did the right thing by going to school and getting a career, but I was making less money working for other people than I was now working for myself and being an inspiration to other people. So it's just honestly been full circle, and I'm really appreciative, but it was definitely hard at first.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll share a bit. So there's a quote that I love, and it's we do better when we know better, right? And we so it's that thing that when we only know certain things, that's what we do. And I think that's part of it with cannabis. There's just the stigma. People don't understand that. Even CBD, right? I mean, there's still my sister-in-law has my mom has asked her, hey, why don't you love social media and you're always posting things and sharing, why don't you share Jamie's company? And she's like, I'm against that, right? With this judgment. And so, but it's her ignorance to things. And I believe that's part of the problem, because the system has been created that way, right? It hasn't educated people in such a long time because of what happened, history, right? If we go back to the 1940s to what happened. However, I am very, once I started, I went to school as well. I got my degree in marketing, and I did sales for some time in the corporate world and actually in the pharmaceutical world. And so I got very disenchanted. And so once that ended, I decided to become an entrepreneur. I still have another business. Once I started, I went to school as well. I got my degree in marketing. And can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's my connection.
I think Chelly's connection is struggling. I'll check in with her.
Okay. Okay. And so, yes, I got my degree and I went to school, and then the industry ended and I started a different business and I started this. And I've been away in a way. I've been like a rebel. I take high risks. Like I don't live on that safety net, right? And so I'm very fortunate to say that like my mom has always been a hippie, and not a hippie because she smoked, more a hippie open-minded, very open-minded. My mom doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, doesn't do anything, but she believes in the healing power of plants. And so for her, it was like, oh, this is incredible. She actually, so my little sister, this is a really important story for me to share. I have a little sister that was born with a neurological condition. And so Melanie's just turned 26. At 6 months old, they diagnosed her with this condition 26 years ago. And it pretty much, Melanie cannot walk. She cannot eat. She's like a baby. She's like a 6-month-old baby, but she's 26, right? And so she's been on medications her entire life, you know, crazy, heavy medications. And she has a lot of convulsions at night. And so my mom says, oh, I kind of want to try your soft gels with Mel and see if it works, because she's trying to get the CBD medication to get approved by her insurance company, but it's like a pain in the butt. So I said, yeah, Ma, try it. So she got her nighttime soft gels, and she was like, they are miraculous. Like they take her seizures away. And I'm like, oh my God, right? And so it's been stories like that. And so I think that opens up. My family has been very supportive. My dad as well. And my dad is the one that is like, don't smoke around that, or don't do these things around that.
Time in the corporate world.
Very supportive, and he wants us to succeed. He wants me to succeed. He knows how much work and how aligned this is to my heart and our mission. And so I guess I think I'm a little bit fortunate in that case that I've had the support of my family through this journey.
I'll talk. Hi, Coral here from Buena Botanicals. In terms of the stigma, I totally understand that. Excuse me. My mom, she's very against drugs, any kind of drugs, including weed, all of that. I grew up, you know, her telling me stories about her living in the Bronx and, you know, seeing all these addicts and, you know, so forth. And so that really shaped her mind about cannabis and drugs in general. So her actually, I think what really turned it around, I've always been I've been a cannabis user for about 10 plus years, but I've been, you know, in the closet, right? Here in Georgia and in Florida, it's, you know, nowhere near legalized. There's the medical marijuana. But anyway, so I've been a long time cannabis user. Of course, she didn't know that. And so I think also what helped her get over the idea of you know, her daughter being a CBD entrepreneur is the evidence that it works. You know, she noticed that it made her feel better. She noticed that her side effects from her prescriptions, you know, they didn't have that kind of effect on her body. And then also, I think really educating them and saying, look, this is $1 billion industry for a reason. Like, you know, there are plenty of people who don't look like us, who don't care about us, who aren't even thinking about us at all, making billions and billions of dollars on this plant. $1 billion industry for a reason. Like, what are we doing? Like, there are at all making billions and billions of dollars. So I think her also realizing that, like, hey, this is a thing. Like, this isn't going anywhere. This is really a tool to heal and to help people. And I think once she sees that, and like Jamie was saying, it makes me happy. You know, me helping people, me hearing that my product helped my client sleep at night, me hearing that my product, you know, it took away someone's anxiety. They can actually function in public now. That really warms my heart, and it makes me feel like I'm really in this space doing the right thing, because I actually care about the plant and I care about healing people and wellness. And I feel like, you know, that's where the learning happens, and that's how the education happens, and that's how our families can really come to understand more about the plant and more about why we do this work. So thank you.
I love that. Who's last? Chelly, did you get to speak?
Hi, everyone. I'm Chelly. And so my story with cannabis and my family, I mean, my mom was like super señora, like, pinche marihuaneros. You know, like she thinks it's like a life of crime or something. And you know, for me, I'm a college dropout. You know, like I spent my life as a community organizer. Um, you know, I've been arrested for it and things like that sort. So I spent most of my life as a community organizer. So I think my parents think I'm, you know, I'm like weird, you know, like, okay, like, you know, just from that background, like I didn't have a, a job that maybe they were proud of. Like most people's parents, you know, they graduate, go to school and have a successful career. My job was community organizing, which was like a challenging thing to explain, and a challenging career, but I loved it. So when I shifted from that to starting my own business, that was, I think, it wasn't the cannabis, it was just starting a business in general, because no one in my family has ever done anything like that. Like, you know, I was raised to be a hard worker and be the hardest worker and like earn points with my manager, with my supervisor. Like, you have to show up when, you know, people call out. You have to be there an hour early. You have to stay late if they ask you to stay late. Like, that's where I came from. So for me to say, like, bump that and I'm going to do my own thing, that was a really challenging thing to explain to my mom. And she didn't get it. She didn't get it until I was able to contribute, because I was coming from a place of poverty. Like, I remember taking my mom to healthy cooking classes because they would give us a bag of produce. And that was the only thing I could contribute, is getting free produce. So coming from that to then being able to help her pay taxes, help her pay all these other payments, it's like a huge thing. And I think it wasn't until she saw that, oh, like, people, my community is like here for me. People love my products. This isn't illegal. You know, like, I was like, this is a sound career, Mom. This is better than anything I've ever like done as far as the career and like thinking about myself and thinking about the future and being a pioneer in the industry. There's so many times where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like officially in the tech, I'm in clean tech industry because my business is online. So, you know, sometimes I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm getting all these like rejections from like Instagram and Facebook and all these other things that just come up as a cannabis business. And it's like, I don't know what I'm doing because it's never been done before. And I actually have a mentor who tells me, yes, you do know what you're doing. You're figuring it out. And I'm like, you're right. You're right. So I think for me, it was just like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, Mom. Like, I'm a business owner. Like, I'm going to make my own money. I'm going to make my own hours. I'm going to say when I work, what I'm doing. I'm going to have more time to spend with you. No longer going to be chained up working for some Popcornopolis at Costco or something, you know. That was the last job I ever had. Again, because nonprofits don't pay well, so you always have to work a side job. So that was my experience. I think it wasn't so much, oh, you're going into this cannabis industry, you're starting a business in the cannabis industry. It was like, you're starting a business, like, you're giving up getting paid for your hour. I think that was like the huge shift. And I mean, as soon as I started bringing in the money, that was it. I never heard anything again. We've been here for 3 years. So that's my experience. You know, they just had a weird kid. My parents had a weird kid. I always drawn to community organizing and cannabis, and I made a living off of it.
I love that. I love that. I have a similar experience. I think once the money starts coming in, they kind of like have like a, oh, that's like a shut up. Like, yeah, like, oh, I see what they're doing. And then they flip like, oh, I supported you. My dad did something. Well, he never not supported it, but he was just kind of like, you know, what are you doing? But it wasn't until like I was like successful that he was like, oh yeah, they use cannabis in Mexico all the time. And I'm like, what? You know, so I think they're flipping, and it's great to kind of give them time. You know, I think that's some advice that I can definitely give with Latinos and breaking it to them is give them some time, because sometimes you don't need to hammer it in. Sometimes if you just make money, that'll be a way in for them to understand. So definitely giving them enough time for them to feel good about it on their own first, you know? So yeah, I think that pushbacks as Latinas. You know, our experience, I mentioned, was difficult. We deal with things just getting started, but then once we're in, we're faced with a whole different set of obstacles. I know that things that I went through, not being able to just hit up my rich uncle and say, hey, can I have advancement? Like, that was not an opportunity for me, you know? So I had to really become savvy with everything that I was doing. And also just advice, like not being able to hit up, you know, so-and-so for advice because that costs money. I leaned into my USC family and letting being able to reach out to former professors and colleagues in the space. I think that those pushbacks kind of forced me to reach into my community and also give to be able to receive. So I think some of the pushbacks I dealt with as being a Latina also is getting taken seriously. That was a big aspect for me in my career because I didn't start with the business that I could sell something. I started with PR services and marketing. So constantly folks thinking or assuming that I'm in my early 20s, oh, you're going to be a model or you're only this. And I'm like, no, I have a master's from USC and I have a whole business. And then they're like, no, you don't. You're going to be a model and we're going to make you that. I dealt with that a lot. And it was I try not to develop a chip on my shoulder because of it, because I don't want to be that way. But at the same time, getting taken seriously is an issue because of who we are. Oh, we want to give you opportunities, but because you're Latina, we know that this is a huge opportunity for you. So we're going to make it very small for you. Everybody else gets a big piece, but you're going to get the smallest one because that's big for you regardless. Mm-hmm. I got a lot of that when I started being involved in bigger deals. I'm grateful that I have a support team around me. And I think as I've been able to grow, be able to invest in support like accountants and a lawyer to help, and all that stuff. But early on, I'm grateful for those around me, friends that were in the space, leaders in the space that I could call, also my boyfriend, grateful that he and his MBA was able to give me advice here and there, especially when these bigger deals started coming in, because when they first time I got equity on the table, I was like, cool, but what does this really mean? So that was really difficult for me because I didn't want to not get taken seriously, but also I didn't know, that aspect. So that was definitely an obstacle. I was able to share a little bit more about the obstacles that you faced that are uniquely Latina. And I think when I mean by that, stigma, funding, right? We're not getting funded. We're not getting taken seriously. That kind of vibe. Anything you guys felt and dealt with?
I guess I'll go. Being a license holder here in California, we were one of the, I think, first 100 licenses to be issued. So, just coming out the gate, the pressure is on for you to really show up and execute. And I took that to heart. I think what really helped me actually was having my family around me and actually leveraging the skill sets and the ganas that we have from our community, which is great. Once the community knows you exist, they'll do everything to support you. And I think they do it from the bottom of their heart, which is unique because everybody that's doing entrepreneurship nowadays, everybody's thinking about their cap table and who's going to be on it and who's the richest guy that can get on the cap table. Where I'm thinking is like, how do we get more Latinos to be investors in these cannabis business and be stakeholders, right? From the ground up. So just short story, my brother, actually, he's a handyman. He came in and had it not been for him, I would have not gotten my building up to code, would have not gotten my license. And he did it out of the love for his big sister. So that's unique, and that was a big challenge, Latina. I couldn't afford a contractor. I was able to find a Latino electrical engineer to design our ventilation system. So I was really proud of that. I was also able to find an architect, that was Latino. So from the beginning of my business as a Latina, I said, well, if people are not going to come and help us, how do we start helping others? And that really is about how do we do business with each other and how do we get business for each other? And I think as a Latina, that's been my biggest power play.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good point, how you said, we kind of have to be able to, what can we offer? That was my biggest thing. You know, obviously I have so much support, but what am I offering as myself to everyone else? And so when I go in with that mindset, what can I offer? How can I help? I think that really changes the game as to how you move as a business owner, and it pays off for sure. Since the beginning, I've wanted to give back with my business because I do it, like I said, watching cops growing up and seeing people going to jail over the smallest amount of marijuana always scared me. So now we donate 10% of our proceeds to Last Prisoner Project, which helps with freeing incarcerated people who have went to jail over small marijuana charges. And you know, that's my main thing, is just what are we doing and how can we help, but also have fun as well, and also teach as well and show, you know, like, you know, I didn't come from a business background as well. I don't have rich parents that, you know, or family that can fund me. Everything I put in, I get back. So I can't make mistakes. I can't, you know, really, I have to have the passion for it. So to show other girls, if you have the passion for it, and if you have the drive, you can get as far as me one day, because I didn't have anyone pushing me. I didn't have anyone telling me what to do. I didn't have anyone funding me, but I did it. So it's just honestly, it's really about what you can give, because I feel like I've received a lot of love, but yeah, giving back is my main focus for sure.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about how important community is for business, because community is everything. It's everything. And for me, like, my largest community is on my Instagram platform. And I mean, just the idea that someone could just take my followers away from me is like taking my blood. So I mean, like, just supporting Latinas in Cannabis, Instagram, when they were deleted by Instagram, is a huge thing. Like, I consider Latinas in Cannabis part of my community. I consider the people who purchase my products part of my community. I consider the people who follow me and don't buy my products a part of my community. And I think it's really important to be together and support each other, because there's so much room for, like, for growth, for just sharing knowledge and experiences, because we are pioneers in the industry. Like, we're really the first people who are doing this, and we're Latinas and we're women. And, you know, we're probably the first generation in our families to break any type of cycle, especially the cycle of poverty. So I think, like, for me, like, my community is so important, and I really just have to focus on my, like, Latinas, because so many times people who are not business owners, who have no business, will give me business advice and say, oh, you need to go where all the white people are. You need to go where the white people are. And it's like, no. Like, what do you, like, first of all, like, don't give business advice on something you know nothing about, because it's bad. It's so bad. And my Latinas are my community. They're, like, the highest growing demographic. I mean, the Nielsen report says it itself. It's like they're the people who spend the most, are the most excited to support someone that looks like them, support people who are following their missions. Like Joy said, like, donating 10% to people who are facing minor marijuana charges. So, like, these are the, you know, we see ourselves in our brand, and I think with our supporters, they see us and we see each other. So for me, like, my community is so important. So it's important for me to make content. It's important for me to always engage. It's important for me to listen to feedback, and listen to requests that people have to make. And so much so that we even do, like, interviews with people who buy our products all the time, to really get a better understanding of how to target everybody, how to be able to serve, you know, to be able to find the patterns that everybody has, and to serve our community is what we're focusing on. And I think community is so important, because without them, I have nothing. And with them, it's like abundance. So I'm just so happy to have a community and to serve them, because they are my other me. I'm their other them. It's so cool to have that exchange. And also, what I would say to anyone else who's pursuing a career in cannabis or anything related into cannabis is, échale ganas. Like, you can't quit. You just can't. You know, if you ever had to apply for FAFSA, if you ever had to apply for general leave, Like, take it to whatever. Like, you can be a business owner too. Like, you can, or whatever it is you want to do, you can do it. Le tienes que echar ganas.
I
Because
want to add to that.
that's what's going to take it to the next level. Yes.
I want to echo, your sentiment. I think a lot of our success is because of perseverance, right? Like, how many times have you been told no? And it kind of like, it's funny because people don't know that, but it kind of gets me excited. You're like, oh, I heard no. I get like a superpower charge, And I think for future Latina leaders, I think just marching on your own beat, right? And your own values and your own vision. And I think what the younger generation has to understand that it's the future is going to come from their vision. Like, the future where we're all going to live together is being built now. So I do ask more Latinas to really think about this industry seriously, because it's up to us to dictate what products also show up in shelf spaces and how our community is consuming cannabis. I know cannabis is great, but a lot of times, as you know, and I'm going to put this out there because it's true and this is really concerning to me, there's companies that are not ethical and will target Latinos, but give our community, all these bad ingredients that shouldn't even be part of any other food, right? So are they showing up to really do good for our communities for the long term, or is it a short-term gain where they just want a quick buck? So I urge all of us to really hold people accountable for the products we do bring to market, because I believe if we do it right, we can have a really healthy economy in the future for all of us. I mean, Latinos are we are the cohort that's going to live this country. And I believe, really quickly, not to rant, but I believe Latinos are going to inherit this country. It's not a matter of if, it's when and at what state. Like, what state of affairs is our community going to be in? And if we give Latinos good quality cannabis products and a good experience, guess what? We're all going to benefit. So those are my 2 cents. And I want to just applaud all of you guys for being in this journey with me and many other women to come.
Yes, I love that. Coral, did you want to jump in on basically on importance of community?
Yes.
The advice you want to give to the next generation of Latina leaders, and anything with regards to your journey that you faced that you want to touch on?
Yes, I love this topic. Y'all give me vibes right now. I'm just like, yes. This is awesome. Yes, community is so important. We really value community. I look at every single customer service review I have on my website. I look at every single one. I read what every single person says. I take their feedback because, like Chelly was saying, I'm really here to serve my community. My community is so important. They have my back, I have their back. And this is why I'm in this industry. This is why, I love this plant. And I also use my company, Buena Botanicals, as a platform to really educate my community, not just about cannabis and CBD, but also about holistic healing practices. Like, so what is breath work? So what is, mindfulness? How do I do things like meditate and things like that really can pair well with this plant to really change someone's whole way of life, whole thinking, whole spiritual wellness, and all of that. So community is really important to me and to my brand and to my company. And if I had to give some advice, I would say be persistent. I would say don't compromise on your vision. My sister and I came up with this idea, and we didn't see anyone like us, out there doing this in 2019. Actually, in 2018, because that's when we started developing our brand, there was no one who looked like me that I saw that really was doing what I'm currently doing. And so we thought to ourselves, like, okay, well, we see this gap. There's something missing, and we're missing, our face, our representation is missing in this industry. And so that really pushed us to get involved and to say, hey, there's a whole part of the population that's not being spoken to, that's not being addressed, it's not being thought about. And so that really motivated us to reach out more to our community and say, hey, you're missing out. Like, this is what's happening around you. Are you in or not? And so that's really, what started everything. So.
It's so great to hear. Chelly, there's one thing that really stood out to me that you said. You were saying that Latinas are spending the most and spending the most on people and things that help reflect, you know, how they are feeling. And it's so true. I was actually reading another stat that talked about Latinos as a whole, that our views on cannabis. It's really tough to find stats on Latinos in cannabis because we have a hard time identifying. So then the stats that we give are sometimes not accurate. But overall, the views on Latinos, folks are opening up, they're into it, and they are showing with their wallets. And particularly, they're identifying with brands and people that show them themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why our brands are going to win, because we are authentic in what we're doing and we are reflecting our communities. And as long as we remain authentic and mission focused, we're going to succeed. And it's going to take us leading on each other to support each other, both in resources, but other ways, right? Community, things like this, you know, where we can connect and empower each other to remember, you know, where we're headed. So Jamie and Joy, did you guys get to share a little bit more about some words for the next generation of Latinas in cannabis? I specifically want to focus on that Latina. We all know her. She wants to get into cannabis, no idea how. She's scared and she's like, no, I don't want to do it. Do we have any words for her? Because I think maybe she was one of us at one point. Anything to share there?
I think just especially from my upcoming, I don't know, how I started out. I definitely started out not knowing what I was doing at all. And now I'm at the point where I get questions all the time, like, how did you start? How did this happen? How did, you know, you step your foot in? And all I can really say is to show up professionally, to take what you're doing seriously. And I know for a fact that other people will see that. And the more passionate and professional you are, I think the more, and consistent, the more people will see that. And that's how you kind of get your foot in, and then brands will see that. And you kind of just hold yourself to a standard that you want to be viewed, even if you're not there yet, even if you're not at 20K, 100K, you have to have that in you. And you have to know, like, well, one day I'll be there, so let me start showing up as her now. And I swear at some point you'll just head down the road of what you want.
Mm-hmm. I agree, Joy. And look, I feel like I'm speaking to that Latina now, right? Because my niece is struggling, right? She's only 20. She is struggling with mental health. There's a lot going on. And what I say to her is what I would say anyone. It's try something. Start somewhere, right? If we don't, sometimes it's like, one, we have to have a vision. It's like if you get in a car now and you're going somewhere when you've never been, right? We use GPS, and before GPS, I would print out my little map, right? Because that's what we had, little maps to go by. So it's like, I believe for me, what I would say to this person who's trying to find themselves and how to get into the industry, it's what's your vision, and that vision's going to evolve, just like life. We're in constant state of evolution with everything in life, relationships, business, everything, right? And so whatever that vision is, hold on to it. It's going to evolve. It doesn't have to be perfect, and start, you know. So if the first step is research, I've shared this with people. For me, I started with research. That's what I started with, you know. And I started finding people, and I started figuring out, okay, what's the best way? And I knew that I didn't want a white label because that wasn't my heart calling. I said, that's just packaging something that I don't know where it's coming from and that other brands are selling for different prices. So if you know your values as a human being, as a person, then I think, again, one little step, baby steps will get you there. And having that perseverance, if it's something that is aligned with you, and obviously, as all of us here, we're heart, you know, our hearts are aligned to these missions. And how when Coral was speaking, when Chelly was speaking, when all of you ladies, and how the happiness and the joy that we get when people share stories with us about how our products changed their lives, literally. Like last night I had an incredible story. Someone come to me, right? It's that's going to make it all better, and you'll start building up, right? And we're brand new. I mean, we just turned 3 months, but we took we took our time. It's an intentional brand. We took 2 years to develop the brand. It doesn't happen overnight. So patience, perseverance, discipline, and show up and just one step at a time.
Can I say something else?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I really wanted to highlight what Jamie said right there. It doesn't happen overnight. I think that's really important. Like, be patient. Like, I guess another way of saying, like, don't give up is like, be patient, because it's not going to be as easy or as fast as you think it is. It always looks like that, but it's not. Like, sometimes a challenge is like having the ganas to get up and roll out of bed. Like, that is a challenge in itself. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's really important, that it doesn't happen overnight. That's really huge. Also, like, find your community, follow your passion in any business, but especially in the cannabis industry. Like, there's so many different avenues. You could be an influencer. You could sell rolling trays, bongs, papers, the actual herb, growing, wholesale, hemp, CBD, THC. I mean, there's like so many different things, like remedies and whatever, or just skincare. There's so many things you can do, but you have to follow which one is your passion, because once you do that, that day it gets really tough. That day you feel like giving up, it's going to be hard to do so, because it's your passion. It really is what you love. It's not an idea of how to make money or how to sustain yourself. It's an idea of pursuing what you love and what makes you happy and what gives you ganas. I also want to extend the invitation to reach out to me if you ever have any business questions, in general, CBD or not. I would love to be that support system for my community as well. So whether you're watching this live or in the replay, feel free to reach out to me at Instagram at XiCali Products, XiCali Products, with the S at the end, because we really have to support each other in this field. That's, like, people are like there's a big wage gap with Latinas. So we're fighting that in our industry. Like, for a lot of us, for myself, that's how I started my business, because no one wanted to pay me fairly. So I had to do it for myself. And even figuring that out, like, how do you charge people? What are your prices? That's a whole other conversation. But definitely, échale ganas. Be so patient with yourself. It does not happen overnight. It's like a roller coaster, and it's up to you to enjoy that ride. And the only way you'll do it is if it's your passion.
Yeah, Susie, and I just want to share something really quick, because I know we're wrapping up soon. But everyone touched on community, and I think that's something that Latinas, we do, right? We love community and friendship and family. Like, it's something so innate in us, which I love. Like, I think that's probably one of my favorite parts about being a Latina. And so the premise again, so how do we build this community of wellness seekers? And so I do want to show everyone something. We set out from the beginning, we want to collaborate, right? That's part of community. And with artists, with musicians, with brands, I mean, with everyone. And so we just introduced a limited art edition, and this is to show community and collaboration with a Brooklyn-based Latina artist, right? And so we commissioned a piece from her, and so far we've printed it on the lighters, and it's a limited edition. And so the camera, it's a bit, but we printed the art on the lighter itself. It's a torch lighter. It's a refillable torch lighter that is super powerful, right? And last night, right now we have it at the Stone Age, which is a cannabis museum, inspired museum in New York City. And we have it there through the end of the year. And the artist came, there was a special event happening. And it's her first collaboration. And she was like, this is incredible, Jamie. People were loving, we have it framed on the wall. And that, to me, it's community and collaboration and showing up. And because together we can really do so much more. And so I wanted to just end with that, because it's really so powerful. And it's through patience. This little piece here took months, right? It was a true collaboration, and anything like that takes time.
Yes, so vamos a extender un saludo a los que están oyendo que quieren en español. Mucho gusto a todos los que están viendo. Agradecemos que estamos apoyando a las latinas en cannabis. Chelly, you want to jump in for our Spanish speakers?
Sí, hola, buenas tardes a todos. Yo soy Chelly, la jefa y la bruja aquí de XiCali Products. Muchas gracias por apoyarnos, por escuchar nuestra plática. Muchas gracias por su apoyo. Y yo espero que ustedes me manden un mensaje si tienen unas preguntas de cómo usar la planta para hacer remedios, o si necesitan remedios, o preguntas sobre cómo empezar su propia empresaria, su propio negocio. Entonces, si ustedes tienen cualquier pregunta, yo estoy aquí para servirles. Me pueden agregar en Instagram a XiCali Products, XiCaliProducts. Y yo estoy aquí para servirles. Yo les mando un mensaje de voz, de video. Yo estoy aquí para servirles. Gracias por su apoyo.
Y también síguenos en el Instagram, en Latinas_Cannabis. Si tienen preguntas de cómo entrar a la industria, si necesitan apoyo de otros latinas, ahí estamos con los recursos que necesiten para que entres y que estés en esta industria. And now I want to make sure that everyone plugged in their businesses, where to buy them, your websites, and any promos you got. So if you guys follow me already, you probably already know about Mota Glass because I don't shut up about it. But Mota-Glass, get yourself a bong, use Latina owned, and that is our code 15% off. So that's me, Mota Glass, baby. Anybody else, where can we get your products?
I'll go. So you can go to stonergirltingz.com and you can find yourself pretty much anything if you're a stoner. But these are some comfy little shirts that we have. I don't know if you guys can see. They say "Stay High" and the rhinestone, and they have our little tag on them too. It's all about details, y'all. And on top of that, we have glass pieces as well. Super cute, super pink. I put these two pieces together because I thought they fit so well. And we're actually, for everyone watching, if you go ahead and use code CLOSEFRIENDS, you'll get 30% off for the rest of the month. Because I know I'm super last minute when it comes to buying gifts, but go ahead and use that this week if you want to. And yeah, that's pretty much it for what I have today.
I'll go next. Hi, I'm Coral, Buena Botanicals here. You can find me at Buena Botanicals or at buenabotanicals.com. I brought my really awesome bath bomb, CBD infused bath bomb. I don't know if you guys could see it. It's huge. It's this scent is black currant pomegranate. It's all natural fragrances. And you can also get 15% off on my website with the code WGLC. That's Women Grow, Latinas and Cannabis, WGLC, 15% off until the end of January. Thank you.
Oh, hi everyone, I'm Chelly, and you can follow our Instagram at XiCali Products. You can also buy our products at XiCaliProducts.com. That's spelled XiCali Products with an S at the end. This is our CBD Mellow Out Tincture. It's our #1 bestseller for stress and anxiety relief. And I would love to offer free shipping, which actually saves you $10. So all you have to do is type the promo code WomenGrow, and you get free shipping at checkout. And send me a DM on Instagram, and I'll definitely add a free goodie bag to your order. Thank you so much for your support.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. Jamie with Hustle Flow. So that's HUSTLEN, F as in Frank, O.co. That's our Instagram. And it's the same for our website, hustleandflow.co, and my lighter site. So as I share with you the lighter, we are actually running a promotion. It started yesterday, today and tomorrow. We're doing 3 days of gift giving because we turned 3 months. And so what we're doing is we're extending this gift giving to the Woman Girl community and everyone that's watching this stream live. And so yesterday, our offer, again, it'll be valid through the end of tonight. So the offer is if you buy the 4-pack, which are the organic hemp flower pre-rolls, you can't find the lighter on the website, we'll just include it. So if you purchase one of the 4-pack, we're going to gift you the lighter, which you can't find it on the website right now. It's a very unique piece. It's a limited edition. So that's one of the things we want to offer. And then if everyone goes to our Instagram page, you're also going to see today's gift giving, which is big. The bundle, these are bundled up. It's called Clear the Noise. Clear the Noise, which is the daytime soft gels, and Sleep on It, which are the nighttime soft gels, right? And what these two, the way we're formulated, they're proprietary blends. They have 50 milligrams of CBD each, but they have different added adaptogens and about 25 different terpene mixes specifically for day and night. So if they buy the bundle, if anyone buys this bundle, we're giving you a few things. We're giving you 2 silk sleep masks. We're giving you a webcam cover for your privacy. We're also giving an aromatherapy roll-on oil, and the 15th order, we are giving you 3 months of Spotify membership. So we're giving a lot of stuff away, gift giving, holiday season, or 3 months. Again, I think someone earlier mentioned, it was Joy, like, you know, giving back comes in many ways. And so we wanted to make sure that during this season, we want to be able to gift to everyone. So anyone that, those offers are valid. And then tomorrow we'll have another one. So it'll be through the end of the week. Thank you.
Hi, this is Claudia. You guys can also follow us on Instagram at calibueno.co and also check out our website. We weren't able to actually do any sales through the mail. So if you are local here in the Bay Area, you can support us by going to our partners here locally that do carry your brand. We have 7 stars in Richmond. And we also have Padre Moo here in Oakland. They do local delivery. They have our brand in their inventory. And I would love to, have you go check them out and check out our website for future news, please. We do have some newsletters. We can sign you up and keep you posted. Thank you.
I love that. Also, I noted, for Claudia, it's a little different because we can't buy it online, but there's always ways to activate the community to go to these dispensaries, right? And if they are currently not carried there, it's always great to ask them to carry. That has power, guys. The consumers are the ones that drive this thing. So if we're not seeing, Latina owned reflected on these shelves, and we do exist, it's time that we start asking for it, right? Whether it's a smoke shop that needs to carry our glass, or whether it's a dispensary that needs to carry our CBD, our products, or our flour, or our accessories. I think that we need to kind of figure out ways how we can lean on each other by doing that, by going and asking for them. Like, you guys carry CALIBUENO because you need to. And they will remember that. They actually will, because they listen to the consumers. Mm-hmm. So it's really great to see. I'm really excited that you guys got to join us for this panel. It's really important for entering the industry. The first step is knowing that you can do it. So seeing us here together as examples of those who made that leap is so invaluable for those watching, those women that were in those same positions that we were in, right? Who kind of wanting to enter but not knowing. What's different is that we are here now. So we get to lead the way. We get to inspire, pave the way, and let them know it's not only possible, but you have us to lean on. And like Chelly said, you can send us a DM. You can also send us a DM on Latinas in Cannabis. And people do. People will send us DMs and say, hey, I'm in a state where I'm facing this, this, and that. Do you have a Latina that does this? And we have connected people. There have been conversations in the comments where people are like, hey, I'm in Chicago. Hey, I'm in Chicago too. That's what we love to see. We love the resources flowing. We love the community building. And if you guys need anything, don't be hesitant to reach out to Latinas in Cannabis, because come to find out, we might have those answers for you. And we're working on building those resources for you. We have some pretty fun stuff in the works for you guys, and the launch of our sister channel, Latinas in Psychedelics, which is really going to be amazing. Psychedelics is growing, following the same path that Cannabis did, and it's great to see that already. I already know some Latinas in Psychedelics that are kicking butt, and we are there already. Be sure to follow us at Latinas_Cannabis and Latinas_Psychedelics. If you guys are watching, wanting to follow all of the wonderful women in this panel's businesses, be sure to follow us at Latinas_Cannabis. They are all there, and be sure to follow them all, because all of us are coming up and we're all going to come up together and support each other. And if you're watching there wanting to join us, do it, because you have the support. Thank you so much to the Women Grow team. Shout out Gia and Tanya and Weed Maps for helping to make this possible. And let's do more. Échale ganas and let's do this. Latinas in Cannabis, baby.